Hello, everyone. My name is Chung Lai Hong. I'm the Associate Professor of Accounting at Nanyang Business School, NTU. I'm delighted to have with me Mr. CF Wong, who will share with us on the interesting topic of what it takes to be a CFO, which is especially important in the context of the tremendous changes that we see in the business environment that we are experiencing today. CF is an alumnus of MBS, having graduated with a Bachelor's of Accountancy, is a head of finance of a listed company and is currently based in Hong Kong. He also serves on the advisory boards of North Asian Regional of Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, as well as the Lincoln University of Hong Kong. As you can see on the screen, there is more information if you're interested. At this time, I just want to hand the time over to CF.
Thank you, Lai Chun. Thank you for inviting me. It is a great honor to be doing this session because I'm an alumni, and alumni, we always like to share what have we been achieving outside the university study. So in a way, we hope we can continue to inspire our students to greater heights. So today, thank you very much for inviting me to share this. I'm just going to do 3 things with you. Very simple stuff. My topic is, what would you do to become a CFO? A lot of people, they finish their career, they finish their university career, they come out and work. Some people choose those professional firm, being an audit firm partner. Somebody might choose the career path of coming into a company and working themselves up to the corporate ladder. And some people might join banks. One of my friends, he completely leave the accountancy profession to become a real estate agent. So there are many career paths available for students. So I choose finance accounting because that's always what I have been doing. Very passionate about what I do. So I want to share with you the current status from Deloitte prediction of what will happen in 2025. And as such, prepare you guys when you graduated, how it's going to affect the accounting professions. The second thing, I was going to touch a little bit about COVID-19 because we are in the midst of this pandemic. And last but not least, some Q&A. So without further ado, I'd like to show this picture. This picture actually shows those Qing dynasty in China. This judge hitting a person who's accused of committing some crime. So I always ask this question: who do you think is the role of accountant? Is it the guy holding the bat? Is this the guy holding his legs, his shoulder? Or is it the man on the left most side judging? Now, when I ask this question to a lot of students, some people think that accountant is the one who holds the bat. Somebody tells the accountant is the one who holds the leg, or somebody thinks that accountant actually is the judge. Okay, to me, I think the closest one is accountant does all of them, and a little bit by a little bit, except hitting people. I think accountant doesn't hit people. I think accountant works more in partnership with different business unit. That means the different people as a team player to ensure that the company grows. So accountant, in my view, is actually the doctor in a company. Anything that happens, central to that, you feel sick, you need a medicine, you need some advice, you go to the accountant. He gives business advice, he provides information, and he points forward. Okay, let me elaborate this a little bit with Deloitte examples and then the role of accountant later on. Now, the burning issue for finance organization. Now, every time when we look at accounting department, people want 3 things from us. The first thing, identify opportunity where to reduce costs. Number 2, they're looking out for accountant, introducing new technology to improve analysis. Number 3, freeing up our resources to do more high value adding activities like providing point forward how the business should be moving moving forward, and what have we done well, what have we not done well. So these are the three things that organization really want accountant to help. So Deloitte predicts 6 major things that is going to happen in 2025. Touchless transaction, changing of finance, real-time information, self-service. Let me go through them one by one. The first one is touchless transaction. Blockchain, a lot of people has thought about. Blockchain has not been a mainstream thing yet, but a lot of people are using cloud-based. That means you don't buy the hard server to store your data. Everything put on the cloud. ERP, artificial intelligence, robotic processing. These are automation tools, software that helps us speed up our accounting transaction and then make us able to free up more time to simplify business process, so that in the past, maybe we process, let's say, accounts payable function. We spend maybe 2 hours or maybe 10 invoices. We're trying to string that time into more than half, maybe an hour. You can process 10 or 20 invoices. And also looking at chatbot. In the past, when you need to answer a lot of questions, ask a lot of questions, you call up accounting department to check. So increasingly, we are seeing a trend that people are programming some of the standard frequently asked questions on the chatbot, and any user, let's say in the same regional, same location, or they are in the global office, their time zone in Singapore, people in US, could be nighttime, so they can reach via the chatbot to answer some of the questions, frequently asked questions, and in such a way, save accounting department, or you don't have to wait for the accounting department to come back to work next day. Some of the answers are available via chatbot. Number 2, changing role of accounting. Just now we saw the picture. Some people thought that an accountant is controlling the business, using the bat to hit somebody who has done something wrong in the business or what. But I think more to finance accounting now is to serve. To serve, our role is changing into serving the business and treating other functional areas as our customer. What they want. What must we provide to them in order to meet their requirement and to help them be more successful. So the key is helping other function in the company become more successful. So they are like a customer, I put inverted comma, customer to the other business function. So business really wanted accounting department to serve these customers so that we are able to align the resources of the company into our own strategic goal in order for the company to achieve its objective for its shareholders. So performance management is a big thing for accounting. In the past, the traditional accounting department is all bogged down with month-end closing. You close the month-end book, you report the month-end closing books, like let's say 15 days after the month-end or towards the end of the next month, you report the previous month figure. So now it's changing a lot into more real-time, which I'll elaborate in the next slide. Now this real-time information, we are speeding up month-end closing. Most big companies now, they close their entire month-end within 3 or 4 working days of the following month. So with all these figures, they are all captured into different software, and now users can go into this software, they themselves, to drag and drop reports. So these reports are available on demand. So even the forecast figure we try to put into the computer, and user can go into the computer system to pull out these data. So because of that, finance organization is becoming a lot flatter. In the past, you have a big bunch of people compiling this information, computing, and then put into the ERP system. Then after that, you download reports to complete the month-end process. So now with a lot of automations and with a lot of software, we are able to capture all this figure directly into another software. In the market, we call it business intelligence, and this business intelligence software, we are able to let the user extract all this information anytime they want. So self-service, just I mentioned, extracting information anytime we want. And now you can bring your own devices, your smartphone, your iPad, you come to the office, you can use via password to download some of this report on your smart devices to read them so that you can know what's the performance of the company across time, last year, previous year, compare against customer, compare against trend, all downloadable on your smartphone. And you can read and analyze this data on the go. Let's say you're traveling. So the smart devices is something that really help us drive a lot of things forward, make it easy for the user to access the information and to make better decisions. So I want to show you this software because this is accounting software, the automation examples.
Accountants, look out! The robots are coming for your job. New technology is changing the future of accounting, and many accountants are afraid that automation and artificial intelligence will replace their jobs. But that fear is misguided for two reasons. Reason number one, new technology doesn't wipe out jobs. It reinvents jobs and even creates them. For example, when the car came along, it created an entirely new industry of jobs centered around the automobile, gas stations, repair shops, manufacturing, and more. In today's world, that means accountants won't simply be replaced by computers or robots. They'll learn new skills and move into more specialized roles. Reason number two, automation can't replace every aspect of an accountant's job. At this point, technology can only replace routine and non-creative tasks. Think data collection, auditing, general ledger, and accounts payable. So no, robots aren't coming for your job. They're coming alongside you and taking up your routine, mind-numbing tasks, freeing you to move into a more advisory, strategic role. But if you ignore the pace of change, you may be left behind. In this climate of innovation, accountants must adapt in order to survive. Many accountants don't want to change. They've learned the ropes, settled into their routines, and prefer to stick with what they know. But the truth is, automation will likely transform the accounting profession within the next decade. Accountants need to be ready. So, how do you prepare? Accountants will likely redefine themselves as strategic advisors. Technology like AI and machine learning will automate rote tasks that take up hours every day, allowing accountants to move into big-picture advisory roles. Accounting firms of the future will use automation to become more efficient, communicate key insights to clients, and continue to build their reputation as trusted advisors. The truth is, change won't end with automation. Technology will continue to advance, and the accounting profession will continue to change. Accountants are up for a tough challenge in the years ahead. But if you learn new skills, stay open to new technology, and anticipate the tide of change, you'll be rewarded with greater opportunities and a more fulfilling role.
Okay, so that at least give you an overview of what I've been talking about. So number 5, the finance operation model. Notice that just now we talked about a lot of AI, robots, helping you to do mundane jobs. This means that accounting department need not have the size, the number of people that it used to be. And some of these people could be freelancer, gig workers that comes in as and when required, just to tie over a certain period or a certain project. So we are seeing these things happening. Even recently when we implemented a new software, we actually get a lot of freelancer to come in for 2-3 months just to help us tie over that peak period. Then after that, we don't use those resources. So things are changing very, very quickly. And finance, IT, business now are working in very, very high collaboration to explore new software and to see how we can help the business. And professions like us, we got to be very, very open to learning new software, adapting. And if you does all these things, I think you will definitely make a very good progress in your career. So finance talent. Next time, I will expect finance talent to have good business knowledge, of course, a technical skill, and those with good communication, and is able to influence others will become more successful. And there will be a lot more cross-functional team projects, not just confined to just finance accounting projects. Now, so CFO normally look after all these major functions from finance accounting to auditing, management accounting, treasury and tax and projects. So financial accounting are those, your general ledger, fixed asset, accounts payable, those that you learn in school. Audit, there are two types, internal audit and external audit. A lot of people goes to external audit after graduation, so they learn how listed company works, announcement, checking the true and fair of different companies, different industry. Internal audit stays in-house. Normally the CFO will take charge of them, and they review the business for control weaknesses. Now, management accounting, this is going to be a big area. A lot of people say financial accounting is like looking at the past data, what happened in the past, captured, and then the next moment, are we able to pause for a while? Audit will do the decision support, management report, financial analysis, budgeting and control. These are forward-looking things. Now, increasingly, accountants are required to do more forward-looking stuff rather than backward-looking. So management accounting is a big area that would grow quickly in the years to come by. Then, of course, looking after treasury and the tax and special projects, we do a lot of M&A, evaluating the deal, due diligence, and those IT projects. So these are all the skill set that you need if you're thinking of becoming a CFO. Now, the CFO revolves around 4 areas. You're going to deal internally with your CEO, your board, your investors. On the left, you have to deal with all the external people like the lawyers, auditors, bankers. On the right side, you have to deal internally with the rest of the functional area of the company. Remember, I mentioned about making them successful. So one of your major tasks is to work very well with them to make sure that they are successful. Then, of course, on the bottom is within your team. How do you get the right people for the right job, motivate them, upskill them, and build up the team that could support you from the top, left, and right tasks. Now, a lot of people ask me, how long does it take to become a CFO? Now, director, VP, on average 5 to 8 years, 6 to 13 years, you'll be there. But to become a CFO, fully fledged, exposure to all that functional area which I mentioned above in the previous slide. Most company, you're looking at more than 20 years, and more than 20 years of hard work. IT telco company, increasingly those startup, all that, you can join a startup and some of them 9 years to 10 years, they offer that CFO role if they can raise fund, if they can do what the startup wanted. But most of the traditional CFO, it takes about 20 years. Now, accounting profession is just like a doctor, a lawyer. The initial years, you just have to learn from somebody who's experienced, a mentor. Your bosses might be a mentor. You might get a mentor outside. Because there are a lot of accounting rules, tax rules, and a lot of things that you have to learn along the way that you could help the business. Previously, when I wasn't having so much exposure to tax, because I started in accounting, I wasn't very good at tax planning. So I myself also has went through that internship of learning from my boss, how he sees the global tax issues, transfer pricing, and how he planned the entire tax planning for our group. And from there, I learned from it, and from learning from the mentor, I move forward. So accounting is like very traditional professions. In the initial years, hard work and learning from a mentor is important. Now, I want to bring this as a special COVID-19 outbreak. Now, Singapore has just announced its GDP, huge change from last year. Singapore now is in technical recession. So in the midst of this COVID-19, we see those potential losers, industry that are losing, tourism, aviation, automobile, manufacturing, financial services, educations. These are potential losers of COVID-19. On the right side, you see medical supplies, food, ICT, e-commerce, agriculture. They are the potential winners of this COVID-19. So this is just a reference, if you graduate and you want to choose some industry to join, this could be some of your reference point. And impact to organization versus how severe. We are now looking at, I myself is now looking at a U-shaped recovery. V-shaped, that means whatever happens straight away when you, let's say, for example, you find a vaccine, it recovers. That's V-shape. U-shape is even if you find a vaccine, there is still a time period between the recovery and from where we are. L-shape, I don't think it will happen because I think people are very resilient. This is not the first pandemic. 100 years ago, we have a very bad Spanish flu, I think Spanish influenza or something like that. We recover. People are very, very resilient. We definitely get through that. So I don't think so. My view is more on the U shape. And in this chart, the consultant actually talk about positive, mildly negative, severe, and catastrophic. So this one you can read. But for me, I think COVID-19 is a U-shaped recovery. So that's all I have today. This is my LinkedIn. This is my email. So after the lecture, if you want to get in touch with me, just connect with me in LinkedIn. You can send me messages or any questions that you might want to ask. So with that, I hand it back to Professor Lai.
Hi, thank you, CF, for that very clear introduction of what it takes to be a CFO.